Donald Trump in the debate says that he did not have sex with a porn star. Did you ever think that you'd have a convicted felon on the stage talking about not having sex with a porn star?
The wife of former President Donald Trump is not at tonight's debate. We do know that Lara Trump is here. She obviously is now leading the Republican National Committee. But right now, this is a stark contrast to former President Donald Trump's last debate.
Ben Meiselas, the presenter of MeidasTouch, recently dropped a bombshell on Melania Trump. In the argument, all it took was one word to expose her betrayal. It's shocking what he stated about the former First Lady's absence. Are you prepared for this startling realization now? Ben Meiselas, the presenter of MeidasTouch, just disclosed facts that will cause Trump to lose his hair. Ben had to do little more than utter the word absent to make the instability within the Trump campaign apparent. Yes, Melania did not show up for the debate, and Ben will not take it. Consider this. There's something missing about Trump's onstage exhibition of chest hair, akin to a terrible spray tan on a peacock. Is the woman who ought to be gazing at him as if he were the final Big Mac in existence somewhere? Folks, she's nowhere to be found. She seems to have vanished more quickly than Trump's tax returns. Ben is making the observation that Melania Trump used to be glued to her husband's side during these occasions. Do you recall those discussions when Trump was running for office? Though Melania appeared as ecstatic as a kitten in a bathtub, she was present. Right now, poof, vanished as if by magic. She seems to be attempting to convey something to us. Perhaps she has finally found out how to open her gilded cage's child locks. This is by no means your normal Melania vanishing act. Guess who else is showing up and gaining attention while Melania is working her magic? It's Dr. Jill Biden there. What a tale of two wives. Jill is out there campaigning as if it were no big deal, even bragging that having you by my side, Jilly, is the best part of the campaign road. How cute is that? It is similar to viewing a Hallmark film, minus the excessive mudslinging. Not only that, but Dr. Jill has great intentions, so she's not just showing up. She is traveling the campaign road in full force, informing voters about Joe's incredible accomplishments, including her attempt to be a first cheerleader. It's likely that Melania is at home trying to find out how to block Donald's phone without having to forfeit her allowance. The lack of Melania says a lot. It is comparable to your friend missing your birthday celebration. I understand what you're thinking, though. Perhaps she's just busy. Perhaps she has a Be Best meeting, a hair appointment, or some other appointment. Ben, though, isn't buying it, and you shouldn't either. Ben is pointing out that not only is Melania avoiding Trump, but a lot of his erstwhile associates are running away from him quicker than rats on the Titanic. It's like Trump is throwing a party, and nobody wants to come. Maybe the impoverished man will have to start charging people to hang out with him. But wait, doesn't he already do that?
I'm looking for somebody that I trust to be able to uphold policies that will protect me and are more concerned for the general well-being of everybody in the United States, which I got more from Biden.
Donald Trump doesn't have the support of his former vice president, about 40 of his closest advisors who have all said that he's a threat to democracy.
The truth is, though, that all those negative allegations about Trump might have something to do with Melania's disappearing act. You know, the ones that, after hearing them, make you want to give up? Maybe Melania has finally had enough of being Donald's encouraging spouse while he's off doing his thing. Ben Meiselas, host of MeidasTouch, isn't just pouring tea. He's spilling the entire kettle, and the next video is going to be even more juicy than a ripe peach on a sweltering summer day. It appears that this family's disintegration is only getting started with Melania Trump's act of disappearance. Ben is digging into the specifics, and the results will astound you. When the Trumps were promoting their idealized, picture-perfect family, do you recall? That veneer, though, is collapsing faster than a hurricane-tossed sandcastle. Let's start by discussing Melania's disappearance. This isn't an isolated event either. This woman has been deceiving the public for a while. Remember how Trump tried to convince her to come to a fictitious award ceremony at Mar-a-Lago, complete with a made-up prize for being great with kids? But Melania was having none of it, rejecting him like a terrible prom date. Ben is making the point that Melania's absences aren't just because she doesn't want to make boring speeches. Rather, they're all connected to Trump's legal troubles. Yes, the ones that are in the news almost every other day. It appears that Melania finds it uncomfortable to be the focus of her husband's attention while he is discussing adjudicated sexual assault and suspected extramarital affairs. Speaking of extramarital affairs, how about Stormy Daniels? Melania looked more flushed than Donald Trump after a terrible spray tan, according to her former closest friend Stephanie Winston Wolkoff. Melania was so upset about Stormy getting a feature in Vogue that she called her a hooker. But here's where things start to get interesting. Ben is drawing a link between Melania Trump's departure and his legal issues. Melania always seems to know when things are going to go ugly. She's like a magician's assistant. She always seems to know when trouble is about to come for Trump. Furthermore, Melania's whole past is starting to appear as shaky as Trump's hurricane-related hairdo. Talk about her Einstein visa and her former best friend's skepticism about her language skills are prevalent. You could be thinking, so what? Drama occurs in many families, but here's the thing. Perception is crucial in politics. The Trump family's image is currently as steady as a chocolate teapot. On the other hand, the Trump family is falling apart faster than a cheap suit, while other political families appear to be uniting and supporting one another. In this case, Ben is not holding back. Rather, he's laying everything out and showing how Melania's absence is only one sign of a bigger problem. The united front of the Trump family is starting to look a lot like a house of cards in a tornado, and that is a big deal in the political sphere. That was just the opening act, honey. Ben Meiselas, presenter of MeidasTouch, is prepared to greet you with a hilarious roast that will make you spit out your coffee.
He wakes up every morning thinking about how he can make the lives of Americans better. He's the president we need, the president you deserve. Sign up at joebiden.com to help finish the job.
On the other hand, Dr. Jill Biden was there to support President Biden, and leading up to the debate, President Biden posted the following: "The best part of the campaign trail is having you by my side, Jilly." And
you believed Melania's act of disappearance to be the major attraction? Imagine this. Ben isn't going to let Trump off the hook too easy. He's going to make you laugh so hard you won't even be thinking about your grocery expenses. Imagine Trump in the debate insisting he never had sex with a star while appearing like a constipated traffic cone. Who hasn't had to perform it on national television after all? Ben has a talent for taking serious topics and subtly bringing them to life while maintaining focus. I can promise you that it goes down very nicely. It's like he's serving up a political smoothie with all the important ideas blended in with a good dosage of fun. Ben attacked Trump, stating, "Anytime you have to argue in a debate that you didn't have sex with a star is usually not a good thing." Ben was critical of Trump's attempts to minimize the Stormy Daniels affair. Really? Can you refute that reasoning? Saying "I didn't eat the last cookie" when covered in crumbs is akin to that. But rather than just throwing in the odd one-liner here and there, Ben's using comedy to draw attention to how absurd it all is. He seems to be presenting politics like a funhouse mirror, and what a crazy reflection it is. In reaction to Trump's denial, Ben did the following hilarious thing. He showed the video of Trump denying having an affair and said, "When you use the words, 'I didn't have with a star,' you're not winning, you're losing." It is humorous because it is true, folks. It is akin to attempting to persuade your college lecturer that your dog consumed your schoolwork. This combination of fun and unsettling facts is like catnip to Ben's audience, who devour it like a final slice of pizza at a party. It's funny, accurate, and makes you feel like you're a part of the joke. All the ingredients of a great joke. The nicest thing is that you're learning something new while you laugh. Ben's not simply cracking jokes. He's bringing up some important issues. It's similar to when he slips critical thinking, rather than carrots, into a child's supper. In addition, in a world where the news might make you want to hide under your bed, Ben's commentary is like a breath of fresh air. Well, maybe more like a shot of espresso. It wakes you up and gets you fired up. Ben's use of humor to highlight the big messy elephant in the room, the one with the terrible toupee and orange spray tan, isn't just satirizing Trump here. He's also revealing the ridiculousness of some of this political drama.
where Melania was livid that Stormy was going to be on the cover of Vogue or In Vogue, and she was calling her like a star hooker. And of course, one of the reasons why Melania did not want to show up is because Donald Trump, well, with a star and multiple other women. And
furthermore, what do you know? It functions. These videos are being viewed, shared, and thought about by people. Yes, they are laughing, but they are also contemplating. Ben's approach to political criticism resembles a popular TikTok challenge, except the dancing and more democracy. Do you think the biggest surprise of all was Melania's disappearance? Nothing has been visible to you yet. Ben Meiselas, host of MeidasTouch, will shock you with what happened after the debate. It will be similar to witnessing a magician conjure up a whole petting zoo from his hat. cat in addition to a rabbit. Imagine this. Trump is yapping like a chihuahua on Red Bull while on stage, acting as though he knows everything. Ben, however, has some information that will make Trump's spray tan appear 50 shades paler. It appears that the voters were conversing about something entirely else while Trump was occupied with his role as big man on campus. We all know that the purpose of these debates is to sway the undecided voters, but brace yourself. Ben has the inside word on what really transpired, and I promise it's more juicy than a beauty salon gossip session. Remember how Trump likes to brag about how many Latinos support him? Ben, though, knows something that will burst that bubble more quickly than a kid at a birthday celebration with a pin. After the debate, those Latino voters who were undecided did a Melania impersonation and swiftly abandoned Trump, creating the appearance that he had suggested building a wall around their abuela's house. When Ben digs into the details of a Univision panel, it's like seeing a mass exodus. After watching Trump's debate performance, these Latino voters realized they had been dating the class clown and that Biden was the stable guy with a future. What's astonishing is that not only a small percentage of voters abandoned the panel, practically all of them did. It resembles seeing lemmings sprint in Biden's direction instead of following one another off a precipice. What a tremendous turn of events. At this moment, you might be thinking, but Trump was so Trump. How could this possibly happen? Ben is the first to realize that these voters weren't interested in what Trump was offering. While Biden was occupied with discussing significant matters, Trump was yelling and flailing like a deranged man who had misplaced his beloved golf club. Despite the occasional gaffe in his remarks, Biden's delivery was practically Shakespearean when compared to Trump's linguistic diarrhea.
And I didn't know what she was talking about, and you hear my reaction. And in that reaction, Melania's only concern was that Vogue was actually profiling Stephanie Clifford, Stormy Daniels.
Donald Trump was a ranting and raving lunatic last night. But President Biden also did not show, he was not jacked up Joe, that's for sure. He did not show up there with any degree of energy.
Rather than someone who could shatter the record for the most insults in a minute, the voters were searching for someone who could craft a compelling policy proposition. Things start to get extremely intriguing at this point. Ben is making the point that people are seeking someone they can trust to truly execute the job, that whole running the country thing, rather than just who can look the nicest or shout the loudest. One Michigan voter summed it up perfectly. They want someone who will protect them and take the interests of the entire nation into consideration rather than just their own ego. They don't want someone who is a circus act. Biden seems to be succeeding with his aw shucks approach. Telling it like it is the foundation for all of the earth-shaking, mind-bending, reality-warping stuff we're talking about. People, fasten your seatbelts because MeidasTouch and Ben Meiselas are about to upend the political system as we know it. Imagine this. While the mainstream media is busy being polite and dodging Trump's tantrums, Ben is dropping truth bombs like it's out of style, reporting the news and rewriting the entire dang narrative. It appears as though he has grabbed the political narrative by the scruff of the neck and shaken it vigorously. Not only is Ben speaking for himself, which is astonishing, but he's also giving out the kind of unbiased news that makes Trump's Twitter feed seem perfect. Remember how Ben was there, ready to call misinformation fake news as soon as Trump tried to portray his horrible debate performance as a win? While other stations are busy trying to be all fair and balanced, Ben is out here stating what everyone is thinking, but nobody is saying. He's telling it straight. He reminds me of the party guy who eventually makes it clear that the emperor is naked. This is where it gets interesting, though, because Ben isn't just speaking to the choir at this point. He's starting a movement that will compel people to act to avert the catastrophe that we are currently facing. He's holding a political pep rally, only instead of cheering for touchdowns, people are applauding for democracy. People are paying attention to Ben. They are not only nodding along, they are engaging in political discourse. It seems like he's turned political activism into the biggest thing to happen to fashion since avocado toast. It is his constant refrain to advise others to pay attention to what the data is going to be saying. He seems to be giving a masterclass on how to recognize political nonsense from a distance. But don't even for a moment believe that Ben is always serious. Oh no, what a funny man. He's turning some of Trump's most ridiculous incidents into comedy gold. For instance, Ben made this amusing joke in response to Trump's denial that he had sex with a star. Ben uses humor to highlight the ridiculousness of politics, and he's not just making people laugh. He simplifies these complex topics so even your cousin who thinks the world is flat can grasp them. He seems to be presenting politics like a funhouse mirror, and what a crazy reflection it is. The true power of Ben and MeidasTouch's work lies in the fact that they are not only altering the political dialogue, but also giving us all the freedom to confront absurdity, demand better behavior from our leaders, and stop acting like everything is normal when it clearly isn't, and that's it. MeidasTouch and Ben Meiselas are changing the entire dang screenplay, not just observing the political circus. They are converting observers into voters, bystanders into activists, and political apathy into ardor.